Okay.
Let's go. All right. Welcome back to another Athlete Spotlight. Today, we have a very accomplished Longhorn, graduated this past May, but we were not going to let her leave the building without doing this sit down so that you, the people, can learn more about what she accomplished while she was here. So let me just kind of read off a few of these stats here. So Sade is Lambert's 2024 Female Athlete of the Year. She's a 3-time state champion, 2 in competition cheer and 1 in track and field. Region champion, 11-time varsity letterman. She was an AP, a dual enrollment student, maintaining a 4.28 GPA while competing year-round in sports and volunteering through social services over 120 hours each year. She competed with the Lambert Competition Cheer Program for 4 years and won back-to-back state championships as a junior and a senior. She was a 7A All-Region Cheerleader, GCCA 5 through 7A All-State Cheerleader, and the 2023 Lambert Comp Cheer MVP. In track and field, she holds the school records with her teammates in the 4x1 and the 4x200 meter relay. In regards to the weight room stats, she's a school record holder in the 20-yard sprint and vertical jump amongst her other female peers. Has a back squat of 300 pounds, which is 5 pounds away from tying the school record. She's the top of her class this year with a clean of 165 pounds and bench press of 140 pounds. She was Miss Elite X for 2023 as well as 2024, which means she ranked out as the top female athlete out of all female athletes walking the Lambert campus. She was a 3-year Infinity All-American. She was a 5-star Infinity Combine recruit who was #1 in the Franklin, Tennessee lineup, earning an opportunity to compete in the USA Army All-American Bowl in December 2023. Sade Ezekiel. What's up, big dog?
How are you?
I'm good. How you feeling?
Good.
Happy to be here?
Yes.
All right, so we about to get straight to it. All right, so welcome. First of all, I know you had a busy summer.
Yes.
At least the month of June, super busy. So first thing is, how you doing?
Good.
Good?
Yes, definitely keeping busy. I think that's just the biggest thing, but that's my normal. So
that's your normal? Staying busy?
That's my normal.
Yeah, we're going to find out a lot about you're busy. Let's get straight to it. So the intro, we read off all of that stuff. State champion, multiple sports, you competing year-round, 4-point, you maintained a nice GPA, taking some high-level courses throughout your high school career. The first question I have to ask is, how are you able to maintain such a high level, just overall academics and athletics for 4 years? What's the secret sauce? Let's just get to it first.
Really, I think the biggest thing is like your mentality. Personally, that is something that I've had to get better at as I've gotten older. But I think all throughout high school, I've had a very, very strong work ethic and a mentality, and that's just helped guide me through everything that I'm doing, whether it be schoolwork, community service, weight training, cheer, track, anything. I think that's the biggest thing.
Comp cheer, 4 years at Lambert High School. Mm-hmm. When did you get started with competition cheer? At what age did you start?
So I started when I was 3.5 years old. And it was funny because when I was 3, I was still doing dance, ballet, gymnastics, and none of that interested me. Dance, cut dance off real quick. Ballet, actually, I kept for a while, and wasn't really my thing. And then I tried gymnastics. That was like probably like the most promising throughout like when I was younger, going into sports and stuff. And I hated the bars because it hurt my hands. So I never did that. And beam, wasn't too interested in beam. The only thing I like to do is floor. And I loved to tumble. I loved just everything about floor. And so the gymnastics coach talked to my mom, which actually was my cheer coach for 3 years when I got older. And she basically was like, yeah, you should probably sign her up for cheer. And then the next day, my mom saw a advertisement for FCC, so it's Fellowship of Christian Cheerleaders, and they had a program basically like in the church, and they offered cheer. So that's what I grew up doing. So.
Okay, so initially, gymnastics,
Yes.
ballet,
Yes.
and dance.
Yes.
All right. Dance, no.
No.
Ballet,
Eh. Yeah.
gymnastics, kind of, sort of.
Yes.
Good with the floor, but the other stuff, not so much. How long did you do gymnastics before that coach went to your mom and was like, hey, let's sign her up for a tumbling?
I would say maybe half a year.
Okay.
Half a year.
Short-lived.
Yeah. Short-lived.
So when you started tumbling, did you immediately gravitate to it?
Yes.
And did you continue gymnastics, or did you immediately cut that off?
Cut that off.
So you just did a nice swap.
Yep.
Swap. Okay.
Yep. That's been my life ever since.
So what age we talking?
3.
Tumbling.
Oh,
So that's probably
tumbling.
4 or 5?
Yeah, I started learning cartwheels, all of that sort of stuff. And then when I got into All-Star Cheer, because the program that I did when I was younger was kind of like recreation almost. And so when I got into All-Star Cheer, that's when I started doing like handsprings, tucks, and then over time started getting my full, my double, standing full, all of that sort of stuff.
So the average athlete that starts tumbling, do they start, obviously it's probably entry level at that age.
Yes.
What are some of the early things they're teaching you all when it comes to tumbling? Like when you first started, what's basic? Because I've seen you compete on the high level, but you weren't always there. What's entry level?
Okay, so entry level, especially for like toddlers, we call them tots. It's like forward rolls, backwards rolls, handstand, who can hold the handstand the longest.
Competition.
Cartwheels, round-offs. And then you start to gravitate towards flipping your body over. So you'll go into back walkovers. Once that's like consistent, you do 2 back walkovers or cartwheel back walkover. And then that's when you get into like the other stuff.
Got it. So for you, just thinking back, how quickly did you progress from that entry level, the 4 rolls, to where you're doing the flips, like the exciting stuff? How quickly did you progress?
Actually, a lot of people don't know this. I did not progress really fast. So when I was younger, I got forward rolls, all of the basic sort of stuff. And then so we started moving into handsprings. It took me 2 years to learn how to do a back handspring.
Really?
And for anybody, it maybe takes them like couple months, half a year. It took me 2 years to learn how to do a back handspring. I don't know, it wasn't processing in my head, but it took me 2 years.
So 2 years to learn the handspring.
Yes.
And then from there?
Tuck came easy, layout came easy, and then it got to the full, which was pretty difficult. I remember I was working on my full during quarantine, so this was pretty recent, and took me a minute. And then I started at ATA, which is a gym I was at previously before Stingrays. And as soon as I went to my first team practice, I got my full. So I've had my full for a while.
Now explain, when you say you had your full, what does that mean? We don't want to assume anything. What does that mean?
So I had my full. Like I could do it on the tumble track, rod floor with like a mat. I just never had the confidence to do it like on the floor until one day my coach was like, hey, you're going to do your full. Just stood in the corner. He was like, do it. And I just did it. So
now what type of, when you say full, if you had to explain what type of flip that is, what does that look like?
So pretty much like if you see a person doing a backflip,
yep.
So we'll call it a tuck, but then imagine that backflip completely straight. So that's going to be a layout. And so then for a full, your body's completely straight, and then you do a full turn, which is a 360. So you'll do that in the air.
In the air.
Yes.
And you started doing that at what age or grade?
When I was a freshman.
Okay.
Yes, when I was a freshman.
And that's when the game changed.
That's when the whole thing changed.
Because if I'm right, everybody that's just because they're participating in tumbling or that's their sport, they're not even do a full.
Yes.
Am I saying that right?
Yes. Some people, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that helps me. So you said freshman in high school? Mm-hmm. Okay. That leads to where we're going. You competed with Lambert competition cheer team for 4 years.
Yes.
Very rich history. Very.
Yeah.
Junior year, senior year, state champions. Mm-hmm. So when you all were state champions this past year, and what number did that make it total? How many state championships have?
8.
That's 8. So 8 total.
8 total.
So the school has been around since 2009. 8. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So you got started early on. You got better. It took you a little slow at the beginning. By freshman year, it started picking up. All of a sudden, you're a junior. You're on the varsity team, which not everything matters.
Yeah.
Let's talk about pressure. Junior year, varsity. It's a different kind of pressure now. Varsity and varsity.
It is.
What was it like? You made the team. Okay, I'm a varsity comp cheerleader now. What was the biggest difference?
So it's definitely a different atmosphere because JV, you don't have a state championship you're looking forward to. You just have 4 competitions, and yes, you want to hit and you want everything to be good, but it's like nobody's expecting you to get to that level. But varsity, it's a whole different atmosphere. Like everything has to be perfect. As soon as you step foot on that mat, you want to make sure you've done 110%. Score sheet hits way harder. If you make a mistake, it's worth way more. And the judges tend to be more nitpicky when it comes to the varsity score sheet. So pressure, I would say, is definitely a lot more, but I think the atmosphere part weighs in a lot of it.
I had a chance to watch you all practice, and I got to admit, pretty intense.
Yeah.
I've been around a lot of sports now. What makes competition cheer practice so much different than any other sport?
The physical strain and the mental strain it's taking on your body. In cheer, your mind plays a huge part of it. You have to be in a good headspace in order to flip your body over. You have to be in a good headspace to think you can lift somebody in the air. And I think what makes cheer practice so different is that you have to lift a human being up in the air while you've done the routine like 10 times over and over again, and you're like sweaty and tired and you feel like you're weak. You still have to do that. You still have to flip your body over. So no matter how you're feeling, you're just gonna have to get it done. And I feel like in cheer it's just a lot harder because I think you're just using more in you. And I think it's really heavily on the mental part too.
And that's where I was about to go with the mental piece. So you're doing the routine, just constant repping, the same steps, the same moves, the same lift, same everything. Mm-hmm. And the coach is like, nope, do it again.
Yep.
Do it again. And that's where that mental strength comes in at. So where do you draw from to maintain mental strength? What's your thing?
That practice makes permanent. I think that's exactly what I think. My coach used to say that all the time to us. Practice makes permanent. So I know no matter how many times our coach makes us do it, she's doing it for a reason in order for us to be perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. How long does a performance last?
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
How long does practice last?
2 hours.
Okay, so let's make
maybe if we're lucky 2 hours.
Let's make it make sense. You have practice for 2 hours. You're gonna perform for 2.5 minutes.
Yep.
So that means there's only so many moves. You can only do so much in 2.5 minutes.
Yes.
So if you had to just guess, how many times you think you repeating a certain move during a practice?
During a practice,
we're talking one thing.
Probably 100 times. At least
thing.
Going to 100 times.
The
yeah.
same thing.
The same exact thing.
So it's very important to create good habits.
Yes, and cheer, especially in high school cheer, it's really like if you make a mistake, you're done. Like one tiny foot, maybe like off the line a little bit, you're done. Like the score sheet and everything's so particular. So in high school, you have to practice everything like to the T. Like if we're not lined up in a straight line, we're starting over, doing it again. Yeah.
So, and you've been used to that since what?
Well,
4 years old, 5 years old? Mm-hmm. It's the same concept, right?
Same thing, yeah.
All right. How do you think that translates into other areas outside of cheer for you?
In academics, you learn a new topic. Let's say like math. You learn how to like multiply and divide. You have to practice multiplying and dividing in order to like get it, in order to understand it, and in order to like know it. And so you're able to like get a good grade on a test. So I just take that throughout every single subject in all academics, because when I learn something, I need to retain it. So I need to practice it, remember it, read it over and over and over again until I know that I have it. And then same thing like track. When I'm running, I have to run the exact same way, exact same stride length and pressure or effort that I'm putting into the ground in order to get it and then have like the best outcome. So definitely, yeah.
So repetition. And being deliberate, you know, because it's one thing to practice just to practice, but then it's another thing to have deliberate. Like I have a certain thing I'm practicing on during this session. I'm trying to get like saying track, a certain foot strike.
Yeah.
You know, hands in a certain spot, and trying to be as consistent as you can.
Yeah.
So speaking of track, 100-meter dash, 100-meter sprint, however you want to say it, 200 meters. So competition cheer, 2.5 minutes.
Yes.
Track, anywhere from 11 seconds to 25 seconds. So you just like performing in high pressure, like situations.
Yes, I do.
You like that?
Yes.
Because, you know, a basketball game lasts like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Football, 2 hours. You doing, in baseball, about the same. So you doing, your stuff is like this.
Yes.
What is it about those type sports that you gravitate to?
It's just the rush, the adrenaline rush that you get. Especially, I can speak for All-Star Cheer. When I'm backstage and before I step out on the stage, I just get like a feeling. Like, you know, although it's like super fast and it sometimes feels like the longest routine like I've ever done, but
2.5 minutes long.
Yes. Yeah. But it's just a rush, and that feeling, there's nothing else compared to that feeling. And that's something that both sides of cheer, high school, all-star cheer can give me, and same thing for track. Although I'm running for 11 seconds, I can just like, it's just, wow, like I did that, you know?
Rush.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. So they used to have a saying like, this person has ice water in their veins. I mean, they don't get nervous, they don't get uptight. What do you feel like you get uptight or nervous before?
Yes.
Like every time?
Every single time.
Really?
Even if I do the routine like maybe a million times, I will still be nervous.
Really?
Before I run, I'm nervous.
But it doesn't hinder your performance, obviously, because you're doing it at the highest level.
Yes.
Okay. Comp cheer, Lambert, super competitive. You know the expectation coming in. State championship, junior, senior year. Did you know y'all had a chance to win it your junior year? Did you all know going into the senior? I guess you probably feel like that every year. Like we have a shot. We got a shot.
Yeah. Anybody thinks they have a shot.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, talk to us about regular season competition versus when you get to the stage. Like, this is my final 2.5 minutes.
Okay. So I will definitely say my junior year, we not struggled, but like low key, like we did kind of struggle getting to like where we were. And I think it's so great to speak about that because everyone thinks like we're all perfect. They see the same routine, they're like, oh yeah, that team is so good. Like it took us a while to get there. And actually, junior year, we only won 3 competitions. 3 competitions. We won region, we won, of course, state, and then we won, I want to say Macintosh. I think those are the only 3 we won.
How many regular season competitions?
There's 7 in total. So 6 5 regular, and then 2. Yeah.
Wow.
Region and state, yes.
And just for clarity, you all build upon the same routine every year? Every competition? Yeah. And then obviously at state, it's like, this is the grand, this is the grand, this the one.
It's the one.
So y'all definitely had to earn it.
We did.
So if you can recall getting there as a junior, you on that stage, or you're there. Mm-hmm. What's the confidence level like?
I would say junior year, I was terrified.
First one though.
It was my first one. Yeah, to be fair, it was my first one. I was terrified. And like, I've done so many cheer competitions. Like, I've been in a fishbowl. We call it like the fishbowl at NCA. It's like the stage is literally in the bottom of a huge row of stands. Like, I've been there, I've done it, and I wouldn't say I'm like that nervous for it, but going to the Macon Coliseum or Columbus, Macon. Yeah, that was terrifying. It was terrifying. And there was, it's a decent amount of people there, but it's not like thousands, like all-star cheer. And I was still so scared. And I think a huge part of that was, yes, it was my first year, but knowing the pressure that it just takes wearing that uniform, and like one tiny mistake.
Yes.
One tiny mistake.
Hey, I'm getting nervous just listening to you talk about it.
Yes. Like, you could do the same thing. It's like when you walk. You don't think you're going to trip and fall because you've walked all your life. And then that one moment when you accidentally trip and fall, like over your own feet, that's the same thing that can happen in cheer. So I think that also scared me a little bit. And then just the whole atmosphere.
Yes.
Everyone's like on the edge of their seat. Like, you walk in and like you feel everyone's just like tense. You see your competitors like watching you from like right there. Like, you can see them. Like, I can look at them and I can fully have a conversation with them, like mouthing. Like, that's how you can see everyone. So I think that just kind of like made my experience a little bit more nerve-wracking because I've never been to state. So, yeah.
But y'all got it done.
But we got it done, no matter
Senior
what.
year.
Yes.
A little bit more confident, I'm assuming, or same thing all over again?
Honestly, okay. Honestly, it was kind of like the same thing. But I will say it was a little bit better because we were a little bit more confident.
As a group.
As a group when it got to the end of the season, which was a little bit scary because the previous year we weren't that confident, at all. And that's how we won. So when your whole team is feeling kind of confident, it kind of scares you a little bit, like, oh, the end is coming. The end is coming. But I think senior year was a little bit more like we were there. And we got really lucky. Like, we had a good routine, perfect routine. Wasn't like our best scoring one, but it was perfect routine. But our competitors, they just didn't do it on the day that they were supposed to. And that's
mindset.
That was ours.
Mindset.
It's mindset.
That's what I think when you say that. Because the best athletes, they get it done when it matters most. Now, all the competitions are important. Let's be honest. But let's be honest. Like, if you get it done in the regular season, but you don't get it done in state championships, it's like kind of a letdown. Mindset. Did you all do any type of mindset training as a team during the school year, or did you do any personal mindset training on your own? And to try to maintain that level of focus from practice, off-season practice, competition? So
everyone's going to laugh when they hear this, but Lambert, for the past 2 years, my junior and senior year, my coach has been all about mindset. I don't know if she picked this up somewhere, but she, first of all, amazing coach. I wish everyone could have like a coach like her in their life at some point. So biggest thing that she wanted us to take away from the season, obviously, was like to have a good season, but also a great mindset when you're doing things. The beginning of the season, we started yoga. Every single Wednesday, we would do yoga. And cheerleaders doing yoga, I know. It's crazy. But it actually really helps center us. And I think that's the biggest thing. And also what our yoga instructor, she also did a lot of mindset practices. So she first taught us how to control our breathing. She taught us how to kind of just center our emotions and focus on the goal. And so she also had us meditate and visualize. And I think that was the most important thing that actually helped us win a state championship, was visualizing. So we would lay down, close our eyes, play our cheer music, and we would imagine hitting. And we did that before every single practice.
Wow.
So it became like a routine. Like we've been doing it since August all the way until November.
Wow.
And before every competition. So my coach, she really valued mindset, because that is the most important thing as an athlete, is to have really good mindset. And I think also for a cheer team too, because you're with the same people for like days, months straight. Having a strong mindset together really builds a team. And I think cheer can value that most, because it's only 16 of us in high school. So if 3 people don't have a good mindset, chances are it's probably going to end bad. I mean, I can hear everybody on the floor because 15 other people with me. So I just think that mindset really helped us win the state championship, and my coach definitely valued that. And also before every competition, she would take our phones. Also, no phones at practice too. Take our phone, take our phones at competition, so we can just be centered. So we don't have any distractions, no nothing. So we can just be together as a team, mentally centered. We'd play games. We would visualize. We'd meditate, and just do a bunch of stuff to keep us like focused. And that's a huge thing that she did.
That's pretty impressive for a high school program or team, because you hear about it, you see it, with professional athletes. You know, some people hire mindset coaches. Like a one-on-one, or some collegiate or professional team. They have a mindset coach come into their organization and speak to the guys. But that's good, coach. Good job. Bringing that to the team and making it like a staple in the program. What position were you at Lambert Cup cheer? What was your position?
Each and every single year I've been on the team, I did a different position.
Really?
So my freshman year I was a flyer, so I was person in the air. My sophomore year I was a side base, so you have 2 bases, and I was the one on the side, so my grips are like this. And then my junior year I was a main base, so my grip was like this, so I was on the other side of the stunt. And then my senior year I was a back spot, so I was behind the stunt like this. Yeah.
All right, so different, and I'm assuming that's just based on, okay, you made the team. Okay, you said 16 people, and the coaches are like, okay, based on the 16, I think you'll be better here versus there.
Yeah.
What's best for the team?
Yeah.
But even though you were you said back spot this past season, but you did more than just spot now. I mean, I saw you on the floor doing some stuff. So please don't downplay it like you own it. Do your hands like that again? What did you say?
But like
No. Okay, you did that a portion of the routine.
Yeah.
But what did you do the other portion of the routine?
I flipped a lot.
A lot. So the routine you all had this year, what was your flip? What was your combo? What were the flips you were doing? So
in the beginning, I did a standing full. And then I did a cartwheel full. Then we had our stunt. We did our jump sequence, so 3 jumps. And then I became a base, kind of, but still a back spot in our 2-man. And then I did my running tumbling, so I did a whip through the full. Then I back spotted again, and then we had our dance.
And then you had to dance. So you did a lot of stuff.
I did.
And you did it very well, too, if I can say. What do you think made you so versatile? Because you're saying doing different positions, and you actually did it at a high level. Like you were on the floor, highly competitive team, and we talk about, the 2023 MVP and stuff like that. What do you think helped you be one of the best, even though you went from position to position?
First, definitely mentality is like the first thing. And then when I do something that I really, really like, or just like in general, I just have like an open mind. And so I'm a huge team player. If my coach needs me to do something, I'm doing it without a question. I'm just going to do it, not ask anything. And
I have
so,
to sit up on that one now. Because that's kind of becoming a lost art. The whole team player piece.
Yes.
With social media and everybody wanting their stats and the likes, they want that post. That's so it's good to hear you talk. Team first mentality, as I like to say. So sorry to interrupt you, but I had to sit up on that. Go ahead, though. That's
really good. Yeah, and I think that just played the biggest thing. I'm a huge team player, and I don't mind doing other positions because, yes, you can be good at one thing, but it's better to be good at everything. So then if you're needed in other positions, you can just do it without a doubt. Anything in life. So.
In life, you want to go there?
Yeah, like language, like,
I like it. Go.
Like when you're learning like a foreign language, like of course we speak English, but say if you're ever like in need to speak another language towards another person, it'd be nice if you knew the language. So just like versatility is just very, very good. And I think all athletes should be very versatile.
I like it. Perfect segue. Comp cheer. Let's get versatile. Let's go over to the track.
Okay.
Now, you did not start track. Switch your mode. But you still sticking with that mindset.
Yeah.
I already know you. Tumbling, 4.5 years old-ish.
Yeah.
Track and field. When? When did you start?
When I was a freshman, so I was 14.
What made you try it out and want to do it?
Well, I've always been fast. Like field day, racing the boys, Yeah, like I love to run. Like I like to run competitively. Never like, I never mind going like on a run. I've never really done that, but like if I had to, I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. So high school, my mom was like, well, both my parents were like, oh, you need to try something else, to kind of broad, open up myself. And then, my mom was like, you should do track. I was like, funny, because like that's a bunch of running. And she was like, yeah, like you're really fast. Like, you've always just been naturally gifted fast. So I was like, okay, I get some shoes, some running shoes, go to the first day of practice and I just run.
What color were your running shoes?
Ooh, my first pair.
Were they not pink?
They were blue.
Really?
They were New Balance. Yep.
Okay, I'm surprised.
Yeah, we did some research. Those are some good running shoes.
Oh, you didn't go for looks?
No.
Okay.
Research.
Because I know you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
They were cute though. They were cute. But literally that, I think it was just me one day like, oh, okay, I know I'm fast. Let me go try to do track. So, yeah.
So cheer forever, as you say. Now you walking on the track for the first time. I'm assuming it was for tryouts, conditioning.
It was just first practice. Right, I didn't go to
So first practice. Mindset going into first practice.
So I didn't really have a mindset.
Survival.
It was literally just survival. Like I knew like I was just gonna have to run. That's just all I knew. I had like 2 friends on the track team, didn't know anybody else. My 2 friends from my class and cheer team. I was like, oh, I know you guys. Okay, right. Let's run together. Yeah. So it was literally just survival for me at that point. Like I never knew anything about track. Like I knew how to run fast. That was it. That was it.
You ended your high school, we'll say your high school career, 4x1, 4x2, 100, 200 meter. But you didn't start. Well, what did you, freshman year, what events have you experimented with in high school?
So outside of all those, because I've done that throughout my whole entire like high school career. I tried hurdles.
How did that go?
So
You are
actually,
coordinated now.
yeah, I am very coordinated, and like I can jump pretty high. So hurdles, it was fine. Like it was fine. It wasn't my thing. Like when I step up at the hurdle, I have like flashbacks, or I have like visions of me like actually falling over the hurdle.
Got it.
So mentally, like I knew that was gonna be hard for me, and then it just never really worked out.
As a freshman in high school, what was your position in comp cheer?
As a flyer.
So what did they do with you all?
Throw me.
Like up.
That's fine. Like
But that's higher than the hurdle.
I know. Like flying, like I had no problem with anybody throwing me. Like when I was younger, people were like, oh, can I throw you up? I'm like, yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, so you tried hurdles.
Yeah.
Not my thing, because it sounds like that's more of a fear factor.
Yeah.
Don't want to fall.
Yeah,
right,
I'm not a...
So short-lived. What else did you experiment with?
Long jump. Honestly, I could have been really good at long jump. I think I could have gone, decent, right? It just never really, I didn't have the patience to practice for it. And then honestly, it never really like aligned with everything that I did in a normal track meet. So I just like never really had the time for it. I had long jump shoes. I had the good shoes too. It just really didn't work out too well.
So you say, you know what? Let me just sprint.
I'm a sprinter.
Let me just do what I do.
Yes, my coaches were like, yeah, you're a sprinter. Come on, you're a sprinter.
Yep.
Don't leave us.
So you have a couple that we mentioned earlier, school records, 60-meter outdoor.
Yes.
And was relays?
Relays, yeah.
So you got sprint medley, which is not a sanctioned event, but that's a relay. So relays, that's a team thing. So individually, the 60-meter. You start as a freshman?
Yes.
You ended state championship. So the 4x2 team, yourself along with the 3 other athletes, you all brought it home.
Yeah.
Nice race too, by the way.
Thank you.
Like nice race. Second place in the 4x1 at state championships. You started as a freshman. No real expectations. Are you surprised at what you accomplished in your 4 years of track and field?
If I was like my freshman self and I like saw the future, like I saw everything that I accomplished, I would have just been in shock. And I wouldn't say I'm like surprised or like that I've accomplished so much, only because I'm a really driven person. Like I strive to like be the best I can be. So, I mean, I didn't know I was going to win a state championship, but I am like satisfied that I've gotten a lot better, because my freshman year, I think my time trial, I ran like a 14.
Ooh. I think I might get you.
I think I might have ran a 14.
I'm just saying now.
And then like through the season, I got to meets and ran like a 13. But then immediately, like my freshman year, after time trials, I was put on an 18 relay. So that kind of just like played into my head. I was like, okay, I'm a freshman. I'm running with like juniors and seniors. Like, I got to lock in. Like I got to lock in. And so I think after that moment, I started to like learn and grasp pretty quickly. And then as I like excelled, I think after the end of my sophomore year, that's when I became comfortable with track. And I started to just train. I knew what I needed to do outside of practice, and I knew what I needed to do inside of practice. That's the biggest thing. So, yeah.
Because going back to being, now we going back to what you said about cheer, about being deliberate. I'm going to add a word, intentional. So now that you've gotten comfortable with track, now when you go to practice. So I'm assuming your freshman year, you just running.
Yeah.
I'm fast. I'm just running.
Yes, my arms were.
Junior year, now you're a little bit more intentional.
Yes.
With what's happening with your arms, what's happening with your feet, trying to put it all together?
Yes. So I definitely think that started middle sophomore year, when I started to get into 12s. I ran, I think, a 12.9. That's where I ended my sophomore year. And that was a really big thing because, like, in Lambert, that's like pretty fast. And especially to like county, region and stuff, like I was close to reaching like a lot of like top numbers.
Well, okay, let me say this though. That was good for regular season, but not at the highest level.
No.
Those times. So was it, so you were gaining confidence.
Yeah.
Meaning maybe, okay, I can't do this.
Oh, intentional.
Intentional.
Oh, yes.
Deliberate and intentional.
Yes, I had to start being way more intentional. So the coaches, the trainers that I've had, you know, they taught me like, hey, like you need to start running like this, or your feet cannot be like so short when you run, you have to like extend. So they taught me like a lot of those little things. But I think the biggest thing that I did was I took that to practice. I took that to meets, and I made sure like I intentionally did it. Like at practice, if we were just running like sprints for 50 meters, well, for those 50 meters I'm doing it, I want to make sure I'm doing every single thing that XYZ has told me. So
that's good. So you very accomplished cheer, track, 4.28 GPA.
yes,
So everything, it's safe to say, everything you've been a part of in your high school career, you found a way to rise to the top. I share weight room numbers. All right. You joined the weight training class as a sophomore.
yeah,
You know, it's funny how all of this kind of makes sense. When you started tumbling, it was a slow start. So it took you about 2.5 years to get something right.
yeah.
All right. When you started track the first year, you could run fast, but nothing special. When you walked in the weight room for the first time as a sophomore, how much did you know about weight room?
Absolutely nothing. Zero. Nothing. Yes.
Zero. But this is what's so ironic about all the stuff you're doing, though. You came in not knowing anything, but you ended the big dog mindset.
It is.
Why did you start weight training as a sophomore?
My coach was like, yeah, you guys need to get in there. So me and two other people, we just joined. Yeah, I didn't know anything about like, oh, there's Elite X, oh, there's this and this. No, I never knew. Never knew.
So you didn't know anything about any lifts? You hadn't lifted weights before? Okay. So you came in as a sophomore, not knowing anything. How long do you think it took you to like kind of sort of like for it to click? Not necessarily the strength piece, but just the form and the technique piece. Was it your sophomore year? Was it junior year? I mean,
well, I became like comfortable with it maybe in about like a month and a half, but I don't think my technique was truly like, I would say, better into where I'm able to lift heavier weights until junior year. Definitely my junior year.
So she mentioned Elite X. So you have 100 female athletes in the class. We test in 8 categories. For the most part, 3 times a year. It's a point system, similar to track. Kind of sort of cheer, but mainly probably more similar to track though. You know, first place gets 10 points.
Yeah.
You know, second place, we just go down the list. As a sophomore, you came out number 2 in the Elite X. Now this is what's scary about it, because you didn't know anything, but you could jump and you could run. So between the vertical jump, the broad jump, the 20-yard dash, you getting 10 points and all of that. But your numbers were out, they were just okay. You came back here junior year, crushed the field, Miss Elite X, number 1. Came back here senior year and like just made the gap even larger. So just like track, I'm asking the same question. You came as a sophomore not knowing anything. Are you surprised at what you accomplished by the time it was over in the weight room?
I think it's about the same answer. I just think overall I push myself a lot. And especially I noticed that in the weight room. And I think how I was in the weight room, taking that to my other sports, it helped me mentally and physically, because I knew, like, you have a bar in front of you, right? You have like 150 pounds, you're about to clean it. If you can't clean it, okay, well, you need to do something lighter. Like, to me, I wanted to do as much as I can. Like, if I couldn't clean 150, well, I'm gonna clean 150 the next time. Like, I knew, like, I wanted to get to where I was. It was just the matter of working to get there.
Working.
Yeah, and I think that's with everything too, especially in track. Like, I knew I wanted to hit an 11. Like, that was my dream in track. That's what I wanted to do. And I mean, win state. I didn't think that was possible until last year. But I just have a goal. And when I see it, I'll do anything and push for it to get that goal.
Wow. 300 pounds on a back squat. Was that the goal?
No, actually.
You want to tell the story? You want to tell the story how that actually happened?
Okay, so first in the beginning, I couldn't squat my whole entire like sophomore year. I think I had one successful max out day for squat.
But what do you mean now when you say couldn't squat now? You gotta
I wasn't going
that.
low enough.
Okay, clarify.
Also, to be fair though, like, I didn't have good knees like growing up. Because I like was growing really fast. So like my knees just weren't the best. And so coming to weight training and having to squat really low, not my thing. Not my thing. And you think in cheer we squat low, but I mean, I didn't have to squat that low. So I was fine. And then, so seeing now that I squatted 300 pounds is quite crazy. Cause like, I was just having a good max out day. I was like, you know what? I did 250, 265. Let me try 275. Like 275 was like the goal. I was like, if I get 275, I'm gonna be satisfied. Like, that's good, right? So I'm with my rack, the rack that I always like max out with. And they say they knew okay, I thought 275 was on the bar, but this is 100% on me. So I always just had them put on the weight because I had to get like locked in. You know, we always helped each other out like that, so they put on the weight. So I thought they put on 275. And before, like after that, they told me, they're like, oh yeah, we put on 280. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, that's fine. It's okay. But then the next day, Coach Mattair and AJ Ferrer, they were in here and they just like busted out laughing. I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. I was like, why are you guys laughing? So come show me the video of me squatting. They're like, oh, you squat this? I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, that's me. I got 275. Like, so happy. And then they're like, okay, so are you like really smart? I was like, yeah, you know, I think I'm pretty smart. So you must be bad at math. And they're like, why don't you count the weight? I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I'm like counting the weight and adding it up. I'm like, okay, so that's 280, understandable. 285. 295.
Yes.
I still had the 2.5s on the side that I didn't count. And then 300. I was like, I just squatted 300 pounds. I didn't even think that was real. I didn't even know I was squatting 300 pounds.
You had a great day that day.
Like, I had a great day. Wow. Like, I'm so surprised I even did that.
Right. So you 300, 5 pounds shy of the school record. School record is 305. Clean, 150.
65.
Sorry. See, she got the numbers right. So your number. So you did some stuff. So once again, everything's like that you became a part of. I can truly say you maximized. Like you gave everything you had. You were very deliberate, intentional. Those are the 3 words for the day, and you maximized. You have to do a lot of stuff outside of what we see in order to perform at a high level. So let's switch gears.
Okay.
Let's talk nutrition. We got to talk sleep.
Okay.
And obviously we already hit on the training piece. We're going to circle back. Before nutrition sleep, let's go here. You say your coach obviously told you, hey, you need to go ahead and y'all join the weight training class. So obviously they encourage you to do it. How do you feel like weight training played a part in track and field and comp cheer?
It played a huge part. Like, in cheer, I don't think a lot of cheerleaders realize how much weight training can help. You think it's just kind of like common sense, like, oh yeah, you gotta be strong to lift up someone. But most cheerleaders actually do not weight train. When I started weight training, I got put on this team called Stingray, also Steel. And when my main job on that team was to tumble. Like, my job was to completely just whole entire 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I'd probably be flipping. And that was something that I wasn't necessarily used to, especially to that degree, because that team, everything that that team does is like insane. I think the biggest thing was I saw a huge improvement in my leg strength and my ability to like keep doubling, keep flipping. Having just the endurance and the strength, I found it so much easier to like get through like a full out. After we do all tumbling, I'd be completely fine. I wouldn't be out of breath, I wouldn't be tired, like my legs weren't hurting. And then I have like one of my friends over here, she's like, how are you not tired? Like, my legs, they feel so heavy. And I think that's just a huge part, because I realized I was like, yeah, the room. I weight train every single day. And I think like that's such a huge misconception when it comes to cheer. Like, cheerleaders don't really need to weight train, but I think it's a huge factor that can help improve anybody. And I feel like track, it's like pretty obvious. I mean, you do have to lift. You want to be fast, you got to lift. You gotta want to be the best. So that one's just pretty like just off the bat. Nutrition.
Do you have a go-to breakfast during just say during the week? Like, just like I got practice, I got weight training, I got practice again tonight. Do you have a go-to breakfast? What's your thing?
I love boiled eggs, bacon, and probably a bagel. Yeah.
That's your staple. Like, if I can get this in the morning, I'm good.
Oh, I'm good.
I'm at my best.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Do you eat breakfast every morning?
Yes. And that actually, when I grew up, I ate something in the morning, but when I got middle school, I don't really like broad breakfast. Like, I don't know, I don't like French toast that much. I don't like pancakes a lot. And the biggest thing that we realized when I was in middle school is that my metabolism is really, really, really fast. And I'd be at practices and I'd find myself getting like dizzy and like just shaky, like really, really fast. I still ate. I ate a lot, but you know, I just wasn't, I went to the doctor and, you know, I wasn't eating what I needed to be eating, like protein wise, carb intake, all of that sort of stuff. So I definitely knew at a young age, like in middle school, that first of all, 3 meals a day is like, I mean, you have to like off the bat, but not only just 3 meals a day, you also have to put good things into your body. Like in the morning, protein. Protein is a really good thing in the morning, especially if you're active, because then it's long lasting. And then carbs also, you balance protein and carbs. And I think that's just like a huge thing that I've definitely grown to get better at, because in the past, breakfast, like, oh yeah, okay, I'm good with maybe like an Eggo waffle and call it a day.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's not enough. It's not enough.
What about lunch?
Lunch?
Do you have a go-to?
Really like nothing. During this year, I had a lot of fish for lunch. A lot of salmon for lunch.
Really? I've heard that from other athletes. I've heard that. I heard that same thing.
For lunch, definitely salmon. That was like my go-to. I feel like I had that like majority of my senior year.
Wow. What are you mixing? What are you putting with it?
So actually, I don't cook. My dad does the cooking, but
good job, Pops.
I know, I need to get better at that. But greens.
What's your green? What's your thing?
Asparagus.
Asparagus
or broccoli.
That's a good mix.
Yeah.
That's a good mix.
I like asparagus.
So you're eating that for lunch?
Yes, and rice.
Wow.
So I had pretty good lunches. Yeah.
No, we're gonna say great. Now, pretty good is an understatement.
Yeah.
All right, so I got breakfast. I'm good with that. boiled egg, got my bagel, got my bacon, so I'm good. Got my lunch going. Does that pretty much sustain you leading up until practice, or did you have to eat something else prior to practice?
I eat a little something, like maybe like a snack or so. Yeah. But,
And then what about dinner? I know dinner can vary for most people.
yeah. Dinner, for me, okay, so I was like extremely busy. Like I always had something like back to back to back. And so I'd have Lambert practice at 4. So I'd eat lunch, 12, 1-ish or whatever, eat a little snack, go to practice. Then after practice, on my way to my second practice of the day, that would be my dinner. So I would have so most people can't do this, but I can eat a full meal before I go to cheer practice and be completely fine. Like it actually makes me do better. Yes.
Full.
Like a full meal.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'd eat I don't know how big is like a normal pub sub? Like,
I mean, I don't know, 6 inch, maybe a little larger.
it's like a foot long.
Oh, you saying a foot long?
So I don't eat a foot long, but like
12,
I can eat a good amount of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then go practice.
And then go practice.
At a high level.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's obvious that you do value nutrition.
Yes. So I'd eat that before practice, and then after practice it'd be like 10:30-ish that I'm getting home, or like 11, and I'll probably just finish it off with maybe like some fruit if I'm hungry. But normally I'm not that hungry after practice.
Got it.
So
What about water intake?
water
How big is that water jug you carry around?
okay. Water is definitely I'm gonna be honest, it's like a really big struggle. Like I don't find myself like drinking water. I mean, I just am not thirsty. But like I know I can't be thirsty to drink water. I just have to drink it. But like I would say, especially during track season, 4 or 5 Stanleys a day.
How big is that?
32 ounces.
32?
Ounces, yeah.
Okay.
So that's like a good amount of water.
Yep,
Yeah.
pretty good amount. So that's definitely, you sound like you need to get better at it. You carried it. You are consistently carrying the water bottle.
Yes.
Now, if you're drinking it, that's different.
That's the question.
That's different.
I have it in my hand.
Okay, so nutrition, you feel pretty good. You found a staple meal that works for you, breakfast, lunch, dinner can vary a little bit. Sleep. How much sleep do you think you get a night?
I get about 7 hours, 7 or 6
And
hours.
that works for you?
Yes, it does, because I add on to it with a nap.
Oh, yeah. I heard about you. I heard you like to take your naps.
I nap.
Now, you're a napper like, hey, I'm on the couch taking a nap, or hey, I'm in the bed under the covers. Because that's a difference now.
Yeah, okay.
Which one are you?
Honestly, it depends. Like, if I'm home and, like, I'm able to, like, get in my bed, I'm like, yeah, okay.
So you getting a real nap.
Oh, I get a nap.
How long your naps last?
From school, if I had, like, a lot of homework, probably, like... Also, I'm going to talk about senior year. Because senior year, I went home at, like, 12-ish.
Oh, yeah.
So, if I didn't have a lot of homework, an hour and a half, like a good nap. But normally, like junior year, whatever, like when I can go home and I had the time, maybe like a 20-minute nap.
And you felt rejuvenated?
I felt rejuvenated, yes.
Okay, cool.
Then normally, I sleep on the way to my second cheer practice, so that's like my nap.
So you're going to get that nap in?
I will
regardless.
get the nap in, no matter what. Yes, I will get the nap in.
She's a napper. Leadership. That's a big one.
That's a big one.
How do you feel about your leadership skills, attribute? You feel like you pretty good leader?
Yes, I would say that now because I've gotten a lot better at it. I've learned a lot more. You want me to like elaborate on it?
Well, so you say learn a lot more. Were you? Was that a goal of yours to become a better leader? Were you deliberate and intentional?
A little bit, yes.
What was your focus? Because leadership can. There's not one. I mean, that's the word, but there's not one way to lead. What was your focus when it came to being a better leader?
I think the biggest thing was all of my past experiences. When I was young, I was a really shy person. So I never like went up to people, talked to them. I was like really, really to myself. And cheer has done a good job of like getting me out of that shyness era. I think also I'm really young for my grade. So also that makes me young being on like cheer teams. So when I was younger, I had a lot of skills. So I was put on higher cheer teams, but I was always like a kid. Like I was always the little baby. Like some people would be like, I mean, it was old back then. They'd be like 13, 14. I'm over here like, oh, I'm 8 or 9, you know.
Same team?
Yeah, same team.
Wow.
I know that's when divisions were like kind of open. Being so young on a cheer team can be really hard because you can feel really left out or like you can't relate to a lot of the older people. And that's also just kind of like with myself in general. It's better now like I'm in high school, but being so young, like, oh, I can drive. Well, I can't drive. Like, you know, I can't drive for another like year, you know, stuff like that. And like, especially, I noticed that when I was young. And growing up, I was like, I want to be better. I want to make sure people don't feel that way. And I want to be able to like do my part so I can help the person that is feeling like that. So I think I use a lot of my like experiences and how I was like in the past and like try to be better than that. So I may not be like the most verbal leader or the most talkative type leader, but I also like am a really good silent leader. Like I like to do my job, get my stuff done, and have other people feed off of my energy that like, okay, well, she did that, let me do that too. You know what I mean?
So you definitely, you're one of those nurturing kind of leaders. Because, you know, a lot of leaders, they just like, whew,
Yeah.
like, this is what we're about to do. Either you get on the bus or you get gone.
Yeah.
So you're the one where you intentional, I mean, you're conscious about who's not, who seems like they're kind of lagging behind it. You want to go and kind of be that person to maybe give them a tip, you know, to help them catch up.
Yes.
That's
I
cool.
think that's really important too, because like many people, especially at like a young age, when like little kids hear like a leader, you think, oh, well, you're supposed to be over here. You're supposed to be over here.
Right.
This
That's what most
person's
people
not in the right line. Yeah. So I think that's what most people think when they hear a leader, but there's many types of different leaders. And I think it's very important to like know and grow as like different leaders, if that makes any sense.
Oh, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
What's next for Sade? Because unfortunately, your Lambert days are.
Yeah, they're done.
You're alumni.
Sadly.
You are alumni at this point. You left a lot. Photos on the wall. You on the 1700 Wall of Fame. Numbers are up. Unless somebody decides they want to. You know how it goes.
Yeah,
you know how the game goes. Records are meant to be broken.
They are.
So your name is up. What's next for you?
So I am going to college at the University of Georgia, and I'm going to be cheering for their cheer team.
On the cheer team.
Yes.
I have to ask this question because we've talked before about, and it goes. It's all the stuff you said. It goes back to mindset for you. And when you set a goal, you are determined.
Yes.
You told me out of your mouth, Coach, no, I'm getting in the UGA. I will be on the cheer team. Now, this is before you got accepted into the school, before you, this is before, that was your goal. And you were dead set on UGA.
Yes.
How are you so confident?
Before I get into that, I think that's like really good because when I like say like I want to do something, like I'm probably 99% like I'm gonna get there, I'm gonna do it, especially at a young age too, because like when I was cheering and getting into like all-star cheer, I had a dream of being on like Steel, Singer All-Star Steel, one of the most renowned teams in the world. And as I grew up, I was like, nah, that's not gonna happen. It's like, no, there's just no way. Like, how am I supposed to be on Steel? Like, I mean, they're just amazing. And that was my dream for so long. I never stopped working towards my dream. I just thought it was like unreachable. I thought it was one of those like, oh, when I'm a little kid, you know, you have big dreams. I thought it was one of those type dreams. And I ended up being on that team. And I think that just kind of like started the whole entire like process of me knowing like, okay, well, if I say this and if I push and work towards it, I'm going to get there. Because being on Steel, that was my dream ever since like I started cheer, and I got the opportunity to be on that team. And I think also going back to Georgia too, Georgia, I grew up knowing only Georgia. Like if you want to talk about Tennessee or something like that, like no, like that was not in my family. Like we were a Georgia family, like through and through. My dad went there, my mom went there, they met there too. My uncle went there, my dad's brother went there. So it's just like I grew up Georgia. So when I got to high school, I got to college applications and everything. Like not that I had no choice, but I had no choice for myself. Like, I'm going to get into that school. Like, if that means taking all these APs, all these enrollments, ACT, SAT, like, I'm going to get into that school. And the same thing with the cheer team, too, because cheer, like, is something that I can't live without. Like, it's been a part of me for so long, and I don't know, like, the life without cheer. And the cheer team is just amazing. Like, I just love how they can represent the school. They're able to just be good leaders in the community at different games. They can go to appearances. Like, I just loved what they were about, and I love what they do. And I knew I wanted to be a part of that. So I said it, I just knew it, and I worked towards it.
And it happened.
And it happened.
And in the fall,
yes,
you'll be there. Well, actually, you've done team camp this summer.
Yeah.
Kind of share just a little bit of what was that about?
So a lot of people actually don't really know like too much about Georgia, only because Georgia doesn't compete anymore. So you have a bunch of colleges, like you have Alabama, Ole Miss, Kentucky, Oklahoma. You have like colleges like that, they compete. So they'll go to NCAA or UCA, have game day styles or all-star styles. So they spend the whole year working towards one competition. For us, on the other hand, we cheer all year round for different teams. And I think a lot of people, are like, oh, that's probably easier. No, no,
absolutely
it is not. It is honestly the complete opposite. It's just as strenuous, it's just as hard as like competing.
Really?
Yes, in my opinion, I think. And also, it's different because I've never been such like a game day sideline type person. I'm more of like a competition. Okay, put on a smile, let me go back and forth and tumble, lift somebody up in the air, dance, call it a day. Like, you don't really do that here. Yes. And I think it's really like amazing that I get to do that because like I never knew I loved game day and sideline so much because I've never been like truly like exposed to it. So kind of like in the beginning, we made the team, and our coach has just been like in contact with us and all of that, and we get a whole thing of videos. So we have sideline cheers that we have to learn, band dances that we have to learn. So whenever you go to like a Georgia game and you hear like the band playing like all of the different types of like music and all that, we have dances to that music. So we have quite a lot of stuff. So all summer I've had to learn all of that, and I knew that I had to learn that before our work weekend. So work weekend's kind of like the team gets together, we do team bonding stuff, and then we'll go in, the coaches will be like, okay, well, you should know this, let's see how it looks, clean some stuff up. So that's like the easy part. So now going into next week, what I'm going to have to do is 2-a-days. So that's a little bit more on the difficult side. So I practice twice a day for 4 days, I'm pretty sure. And that's when we practice outside and it's hot and you're just constantly moving your arms and your body, and yeah.
But you're ready though.
But I'm ready, yeah. And I love doing it too.
Even if you have a slow start, you've proven to us that you still gonna come out on top.
Which I did, honestly. Not too slow, but when I learn stuff like memory, it takes me a minute. Like if I have to learn like a cheer, you give me like a good day, couple or a long period of time, like I got you. But having to learn all of that stuff in the span of like a month and a couple weeks, my brain fried. Like my brain was fried. Yeah. So just like kind of like the memory of it, and I think I grew a lot from that because now I'm like, oh, if I hear it, I can just do it, So it definitely was a slow start in the beginning because I was like, there's no way I can do this.
But I did. You feel confident. I mean, you have it. You got it.
Yes.
Okay.
And all the people on the team are so supportive. They're just so amazing. So.
Wow, that's exciting.
Thank
So
you.
you've been accepted. You be there. Have you decided, kind of sort of declared a major? You think you know what you want to do? What do you want to do?
So I'm studying political science. That's my major. And then I have a minor in sports management. So kind of like how that's going to all tie in. I want to be a sports and entertainment lawyer. So the minor in sports management will help me get kind of like diverse into like that whole entire like realm.
Well, I've learned something about you. If you say that's what you want to do, then you basically telling me just wait, however many years it's going to take you, and then that's what you'll be doing. Based on you now, that's what you do. You say it, and then because I know you have the mindset, you deliberate, you intentional, and you have no problem working, because that's all you know is hard work, and so I have no doubt that you're gonna do the right thing. So I'm excited.
Thank you.
Anything you want to share? Well, no, that's not a question. I'm telling you to do something right quick.
Okay.
High school athletes. Let me get. Now you can add to this, but let me give you something right quick, because I think it's real important for any high school athlete or parent of forget high school. Just say a young athlete. Mm-hmm. Can you tell them how important it is to be intentional and deliberate in your practice/preparation?
So all of that is just very important. But I think as an athlete, you need to dial in a little bit more and really find out what the intention is behind everything that you're doing. Because this can be for like any sport. Like you can do volleyball, cheer, track, soccer, all of that. When you're practicing and you're getting ready to practice, you need to have the intention behind like, okay, well, I know that I'm gonna have to do X, Y, Z in practice, so let me get my homework done before, or let me eat this before practice because then it'll get me more energy. And okay, after practice, I'm really sore, let me foam roll. So being just intentional with everything and kind of just like, what's the word? Thinking about all of the possible outcomes when it comes to like preparation and practice and all of that. And I think for games, meets, competitions, the biggest thing is confidence. And I think confidence plays a huge role as an athlete too, because you can be really, really good, but you can just be really like, just not confident. You're like, oh, well, I don't think I can do it. I can lift 500 pounds, but I don't know. I feel like I'm just going to do it wrong. Like, you have to be confident. Words of affirmation is very important. And just having like a good sense of self, I think is just a big thing as an athlete. And especially as you're going to get older, going through high school, sports, club sports, all-star sports, and going into college, I think that's just very, very important to remember that you have to be intentional in everything that you're doing in the weight room, when you're conditioning, when you're running, even when you're tying your shoes. Like, you just need to be very, very intentional when you do certain things.
Wow.
And I learned that. I wouldn't say I learned it the hard way, but it hit me pretty fast.
You learned it early on.
I did. I learned it very early on. I learned it at a young age. And that's something that my parents always told me was like, you have to be intentional. And when you're intentional, you have to push and you have to drive in order to get to where you want to be.
Well, I don't want to add to that, because I think that is a perfect ending.
Thank you.
So I want to say appreciate you, big dog, for coming through and spending time with us and just sharing basically how you got to where you are. And I mean, the craziest thing about this is you still have so much more you're going to accomplish, though. It's crazy to think you've accomplished a lot in this, let's say these 4 years of high school.
Yeah,
but just you're going to accomplish so much more. So I'm excited just to kind of, and I don't want to speed it up, but I'm just thinking if I fast forward 5 to 7 years from now, to see you as that sports entertainment lawyer, I know you're going to be killing it, because
thank you.
I haven't known you to be a part of anything and it's not been A grade. you hadn't been at the top of the food chain, or you definitely not gonna have to do it. So
thank you. The room brings out the best in people, no matter what it is. Like all of you guys that take this class, and then like, you don't take it that seriously, but like, trust me, if you just dial in a little bit harder, I promise you it's gonna make a difference.
See, we could actually go another 30 minutes if we wanted to, but we're gonna cut this one off. Because all of that, that's a topic in itself.
Yeah.
The dialing in piece from a weight training piece. Or we can separate it and you can go from a recovery standpoint. You said, but we're gonna stop it though. But look, it's been real, big dog.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Sade Ezekiel, y'all. It's all good, baby.
Here.
All right. Woo! Man, that was all good.